Good evening, people, my people. It's your girl, Dr. 𝐓𝐘𝐒, bringing you another episode of Simply Dr. 𝐓𝐘𝐒. And we're going to get into a few intimate details of my life and dealing with some intimate details of other individuals who perhaps we might wish they wouldn't be so forthright with what they're sharing. But nevertheless, we're going to get into it. As per usual, please, if you appreciate the content that I bring and you enjoy watching my channel, please give me a thumbs up. This helps my channel. It helps the YouTube algorithm, and I would be very appreciative of your support. Additionally, please subscribe to my channel and share this content with a friend if you feel like it would help them. So we're going to get right into it. So I've been thinking about the Will and Jada Pinkett Smith conversation that has been ablaze on the internet with the pending release of Worthy, Jada Pinkett Smith's book that will be coming out tomorrow. Yes, I have pre-ordered my copy on Amazon, and I have no issue with that because I do want to read her story, just like I supported Thicker Than Water with Kerry Washington. I'm always going to support a Black woman, whether I need to be in popularity and seemingly agree with them or not. It is what it is. I didn't know if that was a gray hair or a flake, but nevertheless. So with all that being said, I really want to get out of the space of judgment, because for any of you or us that have not experienced the marriage journey, you really can't tell anyone how to handle their relationships. That's number one. Number two, I think we need to not look at Will Smith as a victim, because that's a fully grown man who has built a multi-million-dollar empire. We have to remember, before the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, this brother, if I don't have the school mistaken, had a full mathematics scholarship to MIT. So he's nobody's dummy. Additionally, Jada Pinkett is an intelligent, talented woman and has dipped in and out of activism and has tried to, in her own way, tried to bring a level of humanity and spirituality so that people can become more vulnerable in spaces to get to their greatest version of themselves. Whether that's manufactured or whether that's an organic journey. Again, not for us to judge. That's for the Almighty to judge. But I will say this. If you have never been married and you have not gone through a divorce, I can speak to it. Going through a divorce is one of the most painful things that you can experience, period, point blank, full stop. A divorce is like a death when the person is still basically walking the earth, but it's a death of a relationship. It's a death of a future that you thought you would have. It's a death of the family structure that you thought you could cultivate in a culture that you were prepared to establish with another person to create legacy. And if you're a person that really takes that seriously, when it doesn't happen, it's devastating. So from my own experience, I remember what I felt like after my divorce. Very raw, very exposed. But the one thing I know that God spoke to my heart was, after going through this experience, I'm not judging anybody. I don't have the right to judge anybody, because no one knows what your path is when you elect to choose to join to another life, to create a new one. And what that takes to, first of all, do it, commit to it, maintain it, and just do it till death do you part. That is not a notion. That's not an easy notion. So I say all that to say, Will and Jada Pinkett Smith are grown. They know what they're doing. We don't have to know what we're doing, or they're doing, rather, because sometimes we don't know what we're doing. I'll correct myself. We don't have to know what they're doing. That's their business behind the scenes and how it looks to the community at large. It's not our business. They're doing what they're doing. And Will is still supporting her, and Jada is still supporting him, no matter how it looks to us. The one thing I know about being in leadership is that you can have the best of intentions with a group, with a staff, with a person, and your best intention does not land in the genesis of what you were trying to achieve. Let me let that sink in. You can have the best intention and the heart of the person that you're trying to help, the staff, whomever, the department, whomever. You can have the best of intention. And when you roll out a plan or work or walk a certain path and or journey, a project, and when you get to the end result, the impact of what happens can be the exact opposite effect of what your heart and what your intention was in the genesis of the idea. So when you get married, you very much have an ideal without necessarily fully knowing yourself, whether you are so young and you haven't evolved, or you don't know yourself because you haven't necessarily unpacked certain things in your life that will affect how you are when you join with another person. And even when you have dealt with certain things, or you think you have the tools and you've dealt with certain things, when you join with another person who may or may not have done similar work or any work at all, how that manifests when the two of you become one is nothing that you can chart out. It's really a relationship between you, your partner, and the faith that you practice. That's what it boils down to. And you have the faith to walk through those peaks and those valleys to get to a certain destination of death do us part, or whatever it may be. And how you get there in between, in the meantime and in between time, is truly between the two individuals. Now, people can say, well, Will and Jada have led us into their business since the 90s. And I would say that you are correct to a degree. But the reality is, let's not forget, the culture made Will and Jada Pinkett Smith Black royalty. The community held them on a very high level and a pedestal. We did that. We did that because we wanted to, of course, celebrate the jewels within the community. That's what we do as a culture. Most cultures will do that. They celebrate their own that are making it. They're doing well. They're successful. And they do it with a certain level of elegance, grace, class, whatever the case may be. And no one has done it better than Will Smith, slap and all. Again, let me not dismiss Denzel and Angela Bassett and my favorites. But the reality is, and the Cicely Tysons of the world, but the reality is, an action movie star, blockbuster summertime every summer for years, Will Smith. No one's done it better. The boy's bad. So of course we're going to celebrate that. From the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to what he's accomplished now, from him and Jazzy Jeff rapping, DJing, to what they are now, to what they have been able to build at this point, respectively, Jazz and Will and Jada. Amazing. It's a blessing. So that's going to be messy, and that's a heavy weight to carry. And if you are very much in the field of Hollywood, it's all about the aesthetics, how you look, how you present, how you come off. It's imagery. It's imagery. It's branding. And they're movie stars. So they built the imagery for the culture. And they warned us when people would question various things about their marriage. What was it about? Is it open? Is it closed? Is it fluid? Is it this? The reality is we put them there. And now we're trying to, of course, elevate one to the other, dismiss one for the other. But I dare say, if the two of them, much like a Bill and a Hillary Clinton, elect to stay together, that is truly their business, because they're family and they have children. And as quiet as it's kept, loud as it's told, back in the day, although, again, it may be very archaic, people, especially like in some southern regions, were married for 20, 30 years and sometimes didn't see each other for 10 and had whole new families on other sides of the town and on and on. And it all didn't come out into the funerals. Whatever. I'm not saying that's the way you should be living. You should be living a little cleaner. But what I'm saying is, people who had less stayed together. That's not my testimony. But marriage is a sacred thing. And if they elect to, with all of the trauma, with all of the business out in the street, with all of the table talks, with all of it, if they elect to stay together and he decides to stay and she decides to stay, that's their love and that's their business. Just to bring it to another level, the Obamas, who we love the Obamas. What? I'll scrap behind the Obamas. But Michelle did speak to, there was a time in their marriage where she didn't really dig Barack because they were in a space where, hey, things were a little rocky and rough. Their responsibilities, things of that nature were not flowing, and it was a rough patch. But she herself says, out of, I think, roughly 30 years of marriage, if you have a rough patch of about 7 to 10, she'll take it. Because had she given up, we wouldn't have this story that I'm talking about right now. We would not have the Obamas in the construct that we know them to be right now. But she made a decision. He made a decision to be committed to the relationship, to each other, to the family that goes beyond the love and the emotions and the intimacy and the butterflies. It's a commitment and an action. Love is an action. And sometimes you make an action to stay. Come what may, you make a commitment to stay. And at the core of it, if that's what those two adults want to do, that's their business. Now, granted, do I want to hear about it? Not really. I did watch a podcast recently with Jada that I'm glad I watched. It gave me some insight. And I am hopeful that they can wrap this thing up in a bow, whether it is continuing the journey together, maybe differently, or separate. That's up to them. I don't want to see any family be broken up, but all of the children are grown now. And according to what Jada is saying, they were familiar and knew about every aspect of what was going on, so there's no surprises, which is also, we can question the ages and the way and all of that, but that's their family dynamic. And the fact that they're all adults and all still together as a cohesive unit, knowing the mess, that's the essence of family. That's the essence of family. So we don't have to like how it looks or how it translates. But I encourage all of us to not walk in judgment. I'm not saying that I haven't walked in judgment, but I know that I was like moved to correction. Because, hey, some of us haven't been married or dated for 30 minutes, let alone 30 years or 25. I mean, can we just get an amen on that? So, truly, whatever, do you, okay? But at the end of the day, having walked through divorce and all of that pain, I know I was humbled, and I'm like, I can't pass judgment on anybody when it comes to relationships and what people elect to do, to stay together, grow together, thrive together, or not. So to Will and Jada, I hope you all figure it out, continue to figure it out. And I'm going to support by reading the book. I've already read Will's book when it came out, and it was amazing. And I hope that I get something out of Jada's book as well, because, you know, you can learn from everybody. And again, let's just be cautious with how we put people on certain levels within the culture. But then when they start acting crazy, it's a cancel culture. We don't need to cancel individuals who really have brought us some gems that are timeless, cult classics. I mean, who can be mad at Set It Off? Who? Jason's lyric. Who can be mad at Will? Emancipation. Ali. Who? Let's be encouraging one to another and keep fighting the good fight. And hopefully things will quiet down sooner or later. And that doesn't mean I agree with everything that's been going on, but I'm just saying, let's just chill. Have a good day, everybody. Or evening. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, and I would be very grateful. Have a good one. Bye-bye.